Assalamualaikum, happy Ramadan. Hi, I'm Irzal Kamal. I will be the host for today. Before we introduce our panelists, let me just tell you about why we're here and what the My Industry Talks is about. My Industry Talks is all about you. What the industry wants right now is to engage the people, engage you, and try to share our experiences, share our ideas towards enhancing the competitiveness of the automotive industry. So it starts with this talk. Hopefully we have more of these sort of talks, and we hope that the public can participate, and together we can build My Auto Industry. That's why it's called My Auto Industry, because it's not just about the manufacturers or the brands, it's also about those people who drive cars. It's our industry together, all right? So without further ado, let me call in the panelists for today, and let's give them a round of applause as they walk on the stage. Right, before I start this session, let me introduce our panelists. On my immediate right is Dato' Aisha Ahmad, President of the MAA. Next is a very familiar figure now on newspapers, CEO of Malaysia Automotive Institute, Mr. Madani Sahari. The CEO of Mercedes-Benz Malaysia, Mr. Roland Folger. Next to him, local brand, Managing Director of Prodra Manufacturing, Dato' Amir Rashid. Next, Marketing Manager of Honda Malaysia, Mr. Akbar Daniel. Last but not least, representing Top Gear Malaysia, Mr. Hazri Samsuri. Right, before we go on to the forum, to the discussions, let me explain how today is going to work. For the first session, we have two sessions, session A, session B. We're going to start with session A very, very soon. For about 45 minutes, we'll be discussing topics which are guided by the public. We have had an online poll and online question session open to the public, and the public is submitting questions to us. And the topics that we're going to talk about are derived from those topics. And we're going to reveal that to you soon after. This session will tentatively end around 5:55, 6 o'clock. In that time, you will have received a query form that looks like this when you registered for this forum. Right? This is your opportunity to ask questions for the second session, because we'll have a 15-minute intermission after the first session. And for the second session, we'll be asking talking about questions from you. And feel free to fill in this query form before the first session ends. So we'll be choosing some questions from that to be discussed in the second session. And then, of course, what everyone is waiting for, the Ramadan buka puasa after that. Right? We'll have a great meal after that. Okay, so as you can see, topics are derived, and it's going to be ranked based on the most popular questions on the online poll. So let's start with the first question. The topic that we're going to talk about is road safety. So Adi here thinks that drivers should be the education of drivers should be discussed in this forum, and this is one of the questions that got the most popular responses. So I think what I'll start with is let's talk about this. I think this is an issue more about driver education. So it's not just about the industry, but I think that perhaps the industry can play a role in this. Maybe Mr. Folger, since I'm sure you are driving a car which has the most safety features. Probably that's why I should start with you. Is there anything the industry can do to educate drivers about being more respectful and being more safer driving-wise?
Well, of course. I would say yes, our brand puts a lot of emphasis on safety features, whether they're passive or active. But something that we have started in Malaysia here for quite a while basically is geared towards what we call Mercedes-Benz driving experience. We want to educate our drivers to be more comfortable with their vehicle, and basically with the better handling of their vehicles and being able to make use of all of the safety features of the vehicle, be aware of that as well. They become in part of the driving also, and the driving experience, they can become better drivers and more conscientious drivers, because they know how long is the braking distance even in very, very critical road conditions.
I know the panelists, Mr. Akbar, What is Honda's perspective on creating
awareness, you mean? Okay, hello, hi, my name is Akbar. Similar to Mercedes as well, at Honda we are currently conducting the safety driving to all our customers. Actually, we are offering it to our customers. But in future, if possible, we would like to expand further. For example, to even not only to Honda users, but maybe Honda users can actually bring one of their family members or friends, that we can have that the venue that we can actually teach them or explain to them what would be the active and passive safety on our car, so that Malaysian road would be much more safer to look at it. Yeah, and on the other hand, also we are from time to time we are conducting some sort of CSR activities and stuff like that. We are giving out the pamphlets of how we should drive the car properly and stuff like that. So yeah, from time to time we are conducting regularly with Honda brand as well.
Maybe I would like to add on there. Apart from the manufacturers coming in with their own CSR programs to educate their clients, their customers to drive cars properly, I think really at the institutional level, the education system, right at the beginning of the secondary school, I think this sort of awareness need to be created, and we need to create special subjects, special awareness promotion campaign within the students of the secondary school. The other one would be, in Malaysia, during the time that we get our licenses, I think there should be a stress, a focus into the safety, the importance of how to drive a car carefully, not only respecting yourself, respecting your car, but also respecting others who are also using the road as yourself.
Yeah, I just like to interject. I mean, by the way, it's getting hotter, so might as well interject a little bit. I think most of the other brands are doing. From manufacturers' perspective, the things that were mentioned by the other panelists. I think what is important is, I think the word that Cik Madani mentioned, respect. That is very important. If you can inculcate this early, in our education system, then it goes a long way. That's one. The other one, I would like to suggest what we call the whip and the carrot punya approach. If you can remember, the government started the Kejara punya system. Somewhere along the line, it was on, then it was off. Perhaps, relook at the Kejara system. Drivers who have good track records, no offences, they could be given, they should be incentivized, which could be in many forms. And on the other hand, if they continue to offend, break the laws, then some form of punishment should be there. And I'm for one is against this practice of compounds which are given discounts after some time. I don't think that should be the way.
Actually, you've probably driven all around the world. What do you think of Malaysian drivers?
Actually, we're not that bad. Actually, there are other places where I see worse. We have wild cows and goats on the road, man. Other places we have camels and other animals on the road. Anyway, but I've seen. My kids, they are going to school. I saw the books they are studying about road safety, and the Kejara system, which is the demerit system. It's good, but has been forgotten. I wonder why. But sometime we'll send a letter stating how many points left. But what about that? There's nothing to it. There's also another problem. I've been doing stories about education, as in the driving school. 5 years ago, I was told that the curriculum will be changed to a new one. Now our cars are getting modern by the day. We drive different cars compared to our fathers a long time ago. So definitely there's a need to come up with a new curriculum so that we can start teaching them different things. The things that we are needed. I went undercover to one actually, driving school actually. I really wanted to learn. I can see on the Facebook, people were like whacking them. I went there undercover. And yes, you know what they taught me? They taught me, where is the tire for the motorcycle? This is the headlight, this is the seat. I don't think we need to know that. It's so obvious. We know bikes have two wheels. So the education, the curriculum must be upgraded.
Okay, can I just...
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, I just like to add, when we did a series of fact finding from, and I spoke to the Road Safety Council. In actual fact, 90% of road accidents is caused by human error. So can you imagine? It's not so much the vehicle, it's the human error. And I agree with the rest of my team that if we can inculcate right from young, you know, how important it is when you're on the road to make sure that you drive carefully. And in Malaysia, we have the 4 seasonal festive seasons. We have Hari Raya, we have the Chinese New Year, Deepavali, and then the Christmas time when everybody goes back. And I find it's appalling, and you look at the number of accidents that happen during that period of time. Perhaps, you know, the government could look at ways on how to ensure that, you know, when we have all these festive seasons, I think there were suggestions, and the police itself were controlling the cars that's on the road to reduce the vehicles accidents on the road and all that. But there could be more that can be done. I think most of the death tolls that happen is during this festive season, and we are a unique culture in the sense that we have different racial groups. But at the same time, I think vehicle car manufacturers in Malaysia, I think we have been getting the government to ensure that they enforce the latest safety standards. You have UN ECE regulations put in place, but the slightly not so good news is the fact that whatever additional features that you add, there's a cost to it, so you have to pay for it.
Sorry, I have to cut you off because
Okay.
we're a bit